flooded social media on Monday with posts claiming Haitian migrants in Springfield, Ohio, were eating local cats and ducks. But the Springfield police have said they received no reports whatsoever of pets being eaten. The rumors of cat-eating migrants seem to have all started when popular conservative account End Wokeness posted a screenshot of a post on a private Facebook group of Springfield residents that said, quote, "Warning to all about our beloved pets and those around us. My neighbor informed me that her daughter's friend had lost her cat one day. She came home from work. As soon as she stepped out of her car, looked towards a neighbor's house where Haitians live and saw her saw her cat hanging from a branch like you do a deer for butchering, and they were carving it up to eat," end quote. And it wasn't long after that post that Elon Musk posted this picture with the caption, quote, "Save them." The GOP House Judiciary Committee account tweeted, quote, "Protect our ducks and kittens in Ohio." And then Trump's VP pick, JD Vance, weighed in, tweeting, "Months ago, I raised the issue of Haitian illegal immigrants draining social services and generally causing chaos all over Springfield, Ohio. Reports now show that people have had their pets abducted and eaten by people who shouldn't be in this country. Where's our borders are?"
Rev, what do you think?
I think that it is absolutely the thing that is frightening to us. I'm here in Washington today at our National Action Network office, and yesterday was in the New York office meeting with Haitian leaders by Zoom. That there's genuine concern about where this could go, including some violence. When you're telling people, from a former president of the United States giving credibility to this outright lie, this hallucination that there are Haitian immigrants. Let's not forget it. They're not just saying immigrants. They're being specific. Haitian immigrants that are eating your animals, your pets, your cats, your dogs. You're setting up for somebody to do something that is horrific at worst. And at best, you're setting up a racist situation for Haitian Americans. And let's remember now, Katie, that Donald Trump is the same one that called Haiti and several African countries S-hole countries. He has a fixation with black countries and black people. So he didn't just say migrants are eating your pets. Haitian migrants, any black, anyone of color in Springfield, Ohio, looks like a Haitian walking down the street. You don't stop and take a test on their accents or look for their nationality. So this is a threat to all of us, and it should be taken as such, which is why I've been talking to Haitian leaders on how we should respond in unison, black and white.
A Haitian community activist in Springfield speaking out against those false claims about people in his community eating pets and wildlife. He thanks the city's mayor and police for also rejecting those claims, saying there's no evidence to any of the reports. We've told you this week about how Springfield is in the political spotlight and front and center in the hot button issue of immigration.
I see a lot of confused folks in the comments here saying, "Oh, we don't like Africans and us African Americans don't like you guys back." No. The thing is, well, I'm speaking from my personal experiences. How I look at it is, you guys come to this country and of course looking for extra resources and like, oh, you guys have better opportunities here. When you guys can actually gather around yourselves in your own country, in your own African country, although we're all one at the end of the day. But the problem is, when you guys come here, they're going to automatically bless you guys way before they bless us. They're going to approve you guys for loans before they approve us for loans. And so you guys say, oh, we're more further behind than you guys. It creates more problems when all you could have did was really stay in your community, in your own country, gather around, create unity there, and then build from that. You can go from that. You guys can do the same thing you guys claim to do here in this country in your own black country. And that'll make it way more, I feel like that'll make people around the world take us very serious, because it's just all not, it's just all a mess. It's all a mess. Everybody is going against the immigrants now, and it's not that we want to do that, but you guys are taking resources that don't need to be, it don't need to be like that. It don't need to be.
Let me ask you a question, Queen. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
According to some of the statistics I've seen recently, there are approximately 3 million African immigrants in the United States. 3 million. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris brought in 10 million migrants in 4 years. Or should I say most of them have come in 4 years. Most of those migrants were not African people. So my question is, why do we have so much smoke for the African immigrants, but they are at the bottom of the list when it comes to those who have robbed us the most? In other words, I don't see that type of smoke for the Latin American migrants that are being brought here. I don't see that kind of smoke for the rainbow gang that has appropriated so much of the civil rights struggles of our ancestors for personal gain. I don't see that smoke for the feminists. I don't see that smoke for the Arabs, the East Indians, the Latinos, the Chinese. African immigrants have siphoned off the smallest portion of the American African struggle, but it seems like we always take issue with them and we ignore everybody else who has appropriated the African struggle more. Why do you think we have smoke for the African immigrant, no smoke for the Latinos, no smoke for the rainbow gang,
a lot
no
of us
smoke?
are uneducated. A lot of us is uneducated about that. And I wasn't just pointing out just us Africans. I am pointing out the Latinos, the Bermudians, and everyone, all the islanders, and I'm talking about all of the Venezuelans.
Right, but again, they are the minority of the immigrants. African, and when I say African, I'm speaking of any African, whether they from North, Central, South America, the Caribbean, Europe, Africa, just African.
Right.
They are not the largest group of immigrants. They're one of the smallest groups of immigrants. In fact, Southern European immigrants, white folk from the Southern Europe, they are one of the largest bodies of immigrants who come here and get the social services that were originally intended for Black people, but we rarely discuss them. And of course we know why, because so many Black men are trying to make them wives, so they definitely don't want to, demonize them. But to me, it's hypocritical to have so much smoke for 3 million African immigrants when you have all these other immigrants and other minority groups in the country. For example, if Kamala Harris becomes president, you're going to see an East Indian immigration wave to this country like you've never seen before.
Right.
And guess what? We're going to still be talking about African immigrants. Why are you talking about? Homosexuals have taken way more from us. Latinos have taken way more from us.
Right.
You see, the Ukrainians, the Afghani refugees, these Latin migrants have taken way more from Black people than the African immigrants. And I just think that if you want to be critical of them, shouldn't criticism be equally distributed? I believe the African immigrants get way more criticism than they are entitled to. And then you have other groups. We won't even mention the homosexuals. We won't even mention the Latinos. These are the groups that have taken more from the African American struggle, but we will go right back to African immigrants and make them a scapegoat, for siphoning off of services and benefits from Black people that they have not taken advantage of as much as other people, because their numbers are not as great as other people. And then the other point to that, and not to say that this is you per se, Queen, here's my biggest issue with people, Blacks, who always want to blame African immigrants. And don't get me wrong, I know some nasty African immigrants who can't stand Black people, want nothing to do with us, absolutely in love with Caucasians. Just because I'm a Pan-Africanist, I am not blind that you have Negro pens, you got Africa, you got all kind of stuff. You see, so I see clearly. Believe me, I see it, but it's not most of them. And I know that the real African revolutionaries will never be allowed to come to this country anyway, because they know that they would organize with us. But here's my bigger issue. Don't you find it odd that we will criticize and condemn African immigrants in America, but we will eternally forgive and kiss the backside of Caucasians who have been responsible for our oppression for 4 centuries? So the people responsible for your oppression for 4 centuries get a permanent pass, permanent forgiveness, no smoke. Every time you see the Caucasian, you greet them with a smile. You're happy to be with them. You're marrying them. You're sending your kids to their schools. You're moving into their communities. These people are responsible for your enslavement, your degradation, your marginalization for 4 centuries, and it continues. We're in the 5th century now, 4 entire centuries, and we're 5 years into the 5th century. We have nothing but love for them. But the African immigrant, we got nothing but smoke for them. What do you think about that?
I agree that a lot of people do take their anger out on the Africans, the Black Africans that come here and don't have as much smoke for white people that have put us in oppression and is the reason and the cause of so much mental health issues that we all deal with. We all deal with it, actually. But my thing is, I'm not just specifically having smoke with them. I'm just saying a lot of them do come here and forget the actual goal that we all need to be doing. Like, don't be accepting all their free funds, all this stuff. Or if you do, make sure that you're putting it back into our communities. Don't go and, like the young lady just, you know, the Cameroon sister who were just on, she was just stating that, you know, everybody will come to this country and then go back and then spend their money elsewhere and take it back elsewhere and build. And it's like, then we're not going to have as much here left, you know?
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to let you run so I could get a few more folks on. And great dialogue. By the way, good sister, I will be in Ypsilanti, Michigan, the first day of Black History Month in February. I'll probably be back in Detroit before then, but I'll be in Ypsilanti the first day of Black History Month. Let me hit you with this. Is the real problem the fact that African immigrants are not showing respect for the people who fought for the benefits that they benefit from? Is that the real issue? Or is the real issue that the American African community has allowed itself to remain financially and politically disorganized and weak?
Yeah.
Let me ask it another way. If we were organized without $2 trillion in spending power, hypothetically, let's say that the 50 million of us, if we were politically organized and economically organized, would we care about what little benefits African immigrants get at the expense of our ancestors' struggle in this country? Do you think we would care as much if we had our financial and political shit together? Would we give a damn about a few African immigrant brothers and sisters coming and getting some grants and jobs and some food stamps and some housing? Would we care if we were financially and politically organized? What do you think?
Well, that means we'll have some type of power, and then we'll then be able to regulate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So answer that question for me. Would we care? Would this be an issue if we had our shit together?
No. So
exactly.
Yeah, you're right.
So
it does start.
The real problem then.
Right.
The real problem is not the immigrant.
Right.
The real problem is Black people have done nothing for themselves as a group since Dr. King was murdered. And when other groups come and siphon off, it hurts us, not because they're siphoning off alone, but because we have stayed in the same place for 56 years. How do you expect not to get ran over when you have sat on your ass as a group? I'm not talking about individual achievements. I'm talking about the group. When you have sat on your ass as a group for 60 years, ain't built a hospital, a school, a factory for 60 years, and now other groups are coming here and benefiting from your struggle. We should be so far beyond this. The fact that a $2 trillion people is worried about immigrants coming and getting social services that they fought for is insane to me. It's insane. Why am I worrying about keeping him from eating? I'm supposed to worry about building myself into a global Black power structure. That's where the energy should be. In other words, and this is not you again, Queen, but I see us spending more attention on trying to pluck Africans off of the American African civil rights train, pluck them off. But we don't pluck off no gays. We don't pluck off no feminists. We don't pluck off no migrants. We don't pluck off no Asians. We don't pluck off nobody else. But we're going to pluck all the African immigrant brothers and sisters off when that should not even be a focus.
Right.
Because we don't decide if they get the resources or not. The government decides if they get the resources or not. We don't have no say so. So rather than trying to keep them from getting something over which you have no control, although you fought for it, why not put your attention on building yourself into the next great Black power structure in Black Wall Street? I just believe we operate psychologically, good sister. We operate psychologically from a deficit perspective as opposed to a benefit perspective. Like, if you didn't know we were a true $1 trillion people, collectively speaking, because we do have poverty. Let's be honest. We have poverty, and wealth in Black America is also unequally distributed. We know that our celebrities have way more money than the rest of us put together. Well, excuse me, that's not true. Okay, but we do know our celebrities per capita have more wealth than the rest of us. So wealth amongst us is disproportionately, it's uneven too. But at the same time, we do have it.
Right.
We do have, there's everyday sacrifices we could make and put that money elsewhere. We don't need to have the most expensive clothes. Black women don't need to spend all that money on their hair. Black men don't need to be buying all these Air Jordans and fashionable clothes. We don't need to keep doing all these cruises and vacations. And there's enough disposable income that we could redirect into some positive investments if we gave a damn.
Right.
And I'm just tired of hearing about what the immigrants are taking. Listen, if I don't plan on being poor my whole life, why the hell do I care about what someone else is getting from poor people?
Right.
If I don't plan on being in the projects forever, why do I care there's other people moving into my project? The only reason why I care about other people moving into my project is I plan to stay there. And that's what bothers me about the American African when we talk about immigrants, Black and non-Black, African and non-African, coming here and taking what our ancestors fought for. They fought for that 60 years ago. They fought for that 60 years ago. You mean to tell me 60 years later, when your per capita income is tremendously higher than what it was in the days of Dr. King, 60 years later, you're still trying to keep people from getting benefits our ancestors fought for, instead of building the institutions and systems that we need? Why are we have a poverty mindset. As a people, we have a poverty mindset. Whether we're in poverty or not is irrelevant. We have an impoverished mindset. We're trying to protect something we don't even control, as opposed to taking control over what we do have, and that is our financial resources.
So,
I want to thank you for your call, sister. That was a very good conversation. Thank you for that.
For answering. And you guys in the comments, I am not uneducated, actually, and I do know.
Don't pay them no mind, sister. I got all kind of zest festers, rainbow gangers. Don't pay attention to my comments, please. I attract scum in the comments. So you can't pay them no mind.
Yeah, okay. Well, you have a great evening. You Black
too,
folks stay melanated.
Absolutely. Appreciate you, Queen. One love. Make sure y'all hit the Cash App, $FDMG School. Make sure y'all hit the Cash App, $FDMG School. Make sure y'all hit the Cash App, $FDMG School. Hit your PayPal, paypal.me/FDMG Academy. I'm working on a couple under 30-year-old Black political conventions. I'm working on a couple under 30-year-old Black political conventions. I want to see you at the Source of Knowledge bookstore in Newark, New Jersey, September the 15th. I want to see you at HBCU Edward Waters College, September the 26th. I want to see you in Nat Turner Land for his solar eclipse birthday celebration, October the 2nd. I want to see you in Toronto, Canada, October 4th, 5th, and 6th. I want to see you in Dallas, Texas, October the 12th. Harriet Tubman eclipse, October the 17th. I want to see you in England, the United Kingdom, October the 21st. I want to see you in Ghana, October 30th to November the 5th. Nat Turner Land, November the 11th. Sydney, Australia, November 16th and 17th. Sydney, Australia. We got the Dangerfield Newbie almost eclipse, November the 17th. Atlantic City, New Jersey, November the 20th. Las Vegas, Nevada, November the 22nd. Brooklyn, New York, December the 1st.